Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Girl Boss Method podcast, hosted by myself, Richu. So, this is one of our weekly educational topics that we do here inside the Girl Boss Method. And for today's topic, we are going to be talking all about calorie banking. Right. So, what is calorie banking? So it's a nutritional, you could say it's like a nutrition term or, method, if you like. So calorie banking typically refers to the practice of adjusting your daily calorie intake based on your weekly or monthly goals. It involves saving or banking calories on certain days to allow for flexibility in your overall calorie budget. Okay, so what do we mean by that? So basically, it's a strategy for managing calorie intake over a longer time frame, and it allows for flexibility in nutrition and sticking to calorie targets by offering a balance between high and low calorie days. So quite often when we're thinking about calories, we generally have that mindset to kind of think about calories over a daily basis. And that's an easier thing to manage, especially when you are starting off, because it does actually involve a lot of math. So when we're thinking about that, there's, everyone has a maintenance number when it comes to their calorie intake. And when we are looking at, let's say, for example, a fat loss or weight loss goal, or, trying to get toned or a little bit more lean, etc., anywhere that you are trying to push your body to, lose a little bit of the excess, okay, the excess body weight or whatever it is that you're working towards, we would be working in, or we'd be applying a calorie deficit. So in order to create a calorie deficit, you have to remove some calories somewhere, right? So let's say, for example, your calorie intake is 2,000 calories a day. And well, let's say that's your maintenance calories. And that's your daily target. We are looking at creating a deficit. So we want to apply, anything between 200 to 300 to 500, in the extreme end, we want to create a calorie deficit. We also have to be mindful here that when we are creating that calorie deficit, we are adjusting things and we are thinking about our exercise, our energy expenditure as well. So it's not just about the intake. It's not to say that there's going to be a huge amount to account for, but it all depends on how you work out as an individual. Are you an athlete, or are you somebody that's just monitoring your nutrition and you're just staying mildly active? Maybe you go to 1 or 2 yoga classes a week and perhaps maybe you get quite a bit of walking in. We have to consider all things when we are thinking about what our true maintenance is, and then also how to apply a calorie deficit as well. By the way, for those of you that are not sure of what the word calorie maintenance or maintenance calories mean, it's the amount of calories that you require to maintain your body weight. Okay, it's not going to make you put on weight and it's not going to make you reduce weight, because it's the sum or the figure that allows you to stay the same. Okay, so it's maintenance. So just to clarify that. Now, why would we apply something like calorie banking? So already we've talked about weekly calorie intake and monthly calorie intake. We've talked about daily. When we are thinking about the week overall, or even the month, we can start to look at how many calories we require and start to manipulate the figures or the numbers or the days, right? And I would say that it's probably a lot easier to manage 1 week at a time. Managing a month is actually really quite hard in terms of you've got to be well practiced at what you do to be able to know that you are managing a monthly calorie allowance. It's like getting pocket money. That's why I put the calorie flame next to the coins at the beginning of this the slides if you were watching. For those of you that are listening to the podcast, unfortunately you can't see the screen, so you've just got to listen to me, my voice, and hopefully I do some really good explanations here anyway. Okay, why would we apply calorie banking? Well, it can be especially accommodating during social events or certain times of your monthly cycle. For example, when cravings are present, without derailing your overall progress. So we are looking at the bigger picture here. There could be some potential psychological benefits, like reducing the feelings of deprivation. So when you are in a calorie deficit, and especially if you are in an extreme calorie deficit, it can make you go slightly bonkers because you want food, and our bodies need food to survive, right? We need to be able to do all the things that we have packed into our days, into our schedules. You know, you've got work going on, you've got meetings, you've got, especially this time of year, we've got social events as well. There's so much packed into the day. And it's also, like caregiving or even meeting up with friends or whatever your day looks like. For so many of us, especially, people that work, like either you run your own business or you are in charge. You've got quite a highly demanding job role. If you are working for a company, your day will likely start at like 5:45, 6 in the morning, and then it's over, I don't know, like let's say 10 at night. Like you really are packing it in. I feel like I'm talking about myself here, but you really are trying to make, the days count. So you need energy. So it's just, again, banking can be quite good, especially during this Christmas period that we're about to go into. And so just for clarification here, today is the 4th of December. We have exactly 3 weeks until Christmas Day. Now, in the lead up to that, I wouldn't say that I'm a highly social person, but I've got quite a few things in the diary leading up to that point. So this is where you can accommodate those social events. And I'm going to show you exactly how, and I'm going to give you some examples as well. And it's not to say that we're going to be doing a yo-yo diet, because we definitely aren't. We're going to be managing things strategically, okay? You do not want to be, in a zone where you are absolutely starving yourself to then go and eat a shit ton later. That's not how we do things here, okay? Careful management. We've got to think about our feelings. We've got to think about our menstrual cycle. We have to think about the demands of our daily lives, our training sessions as well. Everything isn't about just a calorie burn, okay? There are buildings, we're building in sessions as well. Our bodies need to recover from what we're inducing, our muscles, the soreness that we're inducing on them. And even when it comes to actually working with cardio output, cardio is not just there as a calorie burn. That's not the only reason why we do it. We want to think about all the other wonderful health benefits we get from doing activity and exercise. So we want to make sure that we are fueling. Yes, if you are aiming for weight loss, fat loss, toning, whatever it is, if you are trying to create that deficit, it needs to be carefully managed. That's why we do it, okay? All right, so how to implement it? Okay, so set a weekly or monthly calorie goal. I'm going to say and suggest set the weekly one. You need to, firstly, you need to be somebody who is tracking daily. So if you are tracking your calories daily, and let's say that I'll give you some examples shortly, actually. But yeah, we'll have low days and high days, but it will all even out. So you take your daily calorie intake, you times it by 7, then you will give yourself some like low calorie days. Ideally, the lower calorie days are days that you are not actually doing planned exercise or a lot of activity. And the days that you are having the increase in calories are the days that you are exercising or you are doing more work. We don't want to kind of have this mindset of like, okay, I'm going to eat low calories all week. I'm going to do loads of cardio. I'm going to train in the gym. I'm going to just like smash it. And then at the weekend, I'm going to do fuck all on a Saturday and I'm going to eat everything. We don't want to do that. Oh my God, I'm actually swearing in this podcast today. I must be passionate about this topic. So yes, we want to allow for daily variations in daily consumption. All right, here's the infogram. So unfortunately, for those of you that are just listening to the podcast, you are not going to be able to see this wonderful infogram that I have created. However, if you send me a message on Instagram at Richu Brar, RICHU BRAR, then we can have a conversation and I can send you the infogram. So literally send me send me a DM with the word infogram and I'll know exactly what you're on about. Okay. Infogram. No, just, yeah, tell you what, say calorie banking. That's a good one. Yes, let's stick with calorie banking. So then I know exactly what you're on about, because you might say infogram and I might send you this wonderful circle that I made, showing the menstrual cycle like the other week. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about calories. Okay, right. So firstly, I love this phrase or this motto that I've put at the top. I stay consistent and allow for mantra. There you go. I stay consistent and allow for flexibility whilst reaching my goals. That is so, so important. Okay. We've not got this like all or nothing mindset. We haven't got this like yo-yo. Oh my God, I'm going to eat like 1,000 calories one day and then I'm going to eat 4,000 the next day and I'll be fine. Let's not do things like that. Let's carefully manipulate and manage what we are doing. So those of you that are using or looking at this via, because you're inside the Girl Boss method, you can see this wonderful infogram. And if you're just listening to the podcast, then yes, send me that message and then we can have a little discussion about exactly what this all means. So, for example, on a Monday, this bowl it doesn't really signify anything crazy. It's just a bowl of food. It just means like good nutrition. It does not mean salad, okay? It's just good nutrition. We got a chocolate bar. The chocolate bar isn't bigger than the bowl of food, but it's just representative of what we are doing. So let's say, for an example, on a Monday, you are going to have like some good nutrition. You're going to allow for a chocolate bar. This infogram was actually used in another training that I did. And so this is just an example. This is not exactly how we would do it, but let's just say good nutrition. You've had a little bit of a treat in there and you've done a training day and it's 1,700 calories. So just for the purpose of this, I'm going to tell you that, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've gone for 1,700 calories. And for this purpose of this example, the maintenance calories are 2,000. Now, with this example, let's say you want to lose weight. So you want to create that calorie deficit. And again, remember we talked about sort of maybe even like 200 calorie drop, 300, or even 500 in terms of aggressive. This is going to be like more of like a moderate calorie decrease. So we're actually creating, from the maintenance, we're creating a 300 calorie deficit. Now, let's say that all the way across the week, you just go, all right, I'm going to have 1700 calories every single day. Cool. You've managed it. You're tracking daily, 1700 calories every single day. You're 300 calories underneath your maintenance, which is brilliant. But in this calorie banking example, we are going to have some low days, some medium days, and some high days. Okay. Let's say you're going out on a Saturday, and Thursday and Sunday are rest days, and you are training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Actually, you're training on Saturday as well. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1700 calories. So you're in that little deficit. Thursday, you're not training. Sunday, you're not training. So you create a little bit more of an aggressive deficit. This example, we've come down by about 500 calories. That then allows you to bump up the Saturday to 2,200 calories. So you've actually, if you see what I'm doing here, we've gone above your maintenance, but it's okay, because when we look at the weekly average, I'll just move my face out the way. When we look at the weekly average, your total calories, despite having that higher calorie intake day on that Saturday, you average at, I did work this out specifically, 1,714 calories. 1,714 calories. So it's like 1,700 calories, right? Give or take. So we're doing exactly the same thing, but all we've done is we've manipulated those calories over the course of that week. Big thing that I need to really run home here is that Saturday where it's 2,200, that's somebody that has specifically tracked that day. It is not a cheat day. You are not The Rock. You cannot blindly go out and eat everything and go, well, it doesn't count because it's Saturday and I'm not in a diet. I'm not in a deficit on Saturday. It's fine, because you will throw out the deficit that you have created across that week. You'll just get rid of it. And if anything, you might actually put yourself in a surplus. So if you're somebody that's like, oh my God, I diet so hard in the week, I'm doing like so good. And then you just like sabotage it. You just go crazy on a Saturday and you eat 4,000 calories. You're not in a deficit. I'm sorry, honey, you are not in a deficit. If you are eating, I don't know, however many calories every other day of the week, you're really starving it, and then you just go wild on a Saturday, we've no idea. And it might not even be one day, because it could be other days of the week that you're doing the same. You might do the same on a Friday evening. Go, oh yeah, it's Friday evening, it's a weekend. You go out on Saturday, you have a really big day, and then, you know, what's happened on Sunday, you're feeling a bit sorry for yourself, you start overindulging again. We've screwed up that. We screwed it up. Okay. Do not let that happen. And now I'm thinking about it, there was another amazing slide that I should have kept in here. So I'll have to make sure that I get that. And the next slide on here, just to tell you that the example that I've drawn up, it is a calorie deficit. So that is amazing. We've made it happen. Okay. So of course he wants some tips, because it's not just calorie banking. Here's the science. Here's the maths. Do it. Do X, Y, and Z. We need to think strategically about all of this. There is some application with what we are doing. Okay. There is an importance of planning. So you've got your week out ahead in front of you. And this is what I do with my ladies inside my program is I tell them, track your calories for the days before. Yes, there are times where you will track as you go along. That's a really good way of kind of like flexible dieting throughout the week. That's okay. But you will have much more success if you plan your meals. So in the calorie banking example, you would just pre-plan your higher calorie day for the special occasion, aka you're going out for a work Christmas meal or something, or you're going out for drinks with your friends. Plan what you are going to have. Then what I want you to do is prioritize your nutrient dense foods first. So even on high calories days, you need to ensure that your meals are balanced and nutritious. Okay. Still try and hit towards your protein target on higher days. That's not to say that you're going to try and hit the week's protein intake all on one day because you were lower throughout earlier the week. Just try and hit your target protein per day. And so what I want you to do, actually, if you are a client of mine, reach out to me. Well, you should know your protein targets. If I've given you a protein target and I've said, look, we need to hit 120 grams of protein a day, even if you're going for that higher calorie day, just try and hit the 120. It's not just that higher calorie day comes in and all of a sudden the whole composition of your day or your meals is just full of fats, carbs, and actually, just full of like fats and sugary food, low fiber, that sort of stuff, then there's really no benefit. And there can really be some amazing strategic things that we can do so that even when you're on that high calorie day, ideally, I want you out hitting the gym. Ladies, the best day to do a high calorie day is the day that you train your glutes, train your butt. Use those extra calories to have an amazing session. I'm going to really try not to swear anymore because I don't like it. It's not like me. a little bit like me. But yeah, I'm not, that's not me all the time. Anyway, I digress. Train your glutes on the days that you are going to have higher calories. Just, use those calories. You can either do it on the day or even the next day. Definitely don't do this thing where, I'm going to be quite harsh here, but sometimes as women, maybe I've been there in the past. I know clients of mine have before they were being coached by me. Maybe they even might feel like they need to do that now. If that's you, we need to have words. But you've gone out and you've had this higher calorie day. And then the next day, you just completely go bonkers doing extra cardio and stuff. Like, don't keep thinking about the calorie burn. Like, mindfully, if you want to get out and move the next day because you just feel good and you want to, help that shuttle that glucose disposal, etc. You want to get those muscles working. You want to help use those extra calories to have a great session, do it. And if that means like, maybe the next day you don't have a planned workout, but you just want to get out for a walk and get some good fresh air, especially if you used your extra calories for a night out where you were just having more calories towards alcohol. Fair. By the way, slight plug there. I do have an alcohol cheat sheet. So if you want that, again, that's another reason to DM me, and you can just literally DM me the words alcohol cheat sheet. That will just be amazing because I've got all the calories and everything within that, and all your most of your sort of spirits and alcoholic beverages and stuff, etc., and a bit of like techniques and stuff or things to kind of watch out for to do. Right. So we talked about the protein. Be mindful of your portion sizes, okay? Control your portions to manage your calorie intake effectively. So Again, this really depends on what type of eater you are. You know, and again, even the day that it is as well. Like for me, I'm not really a nibble and snacker. I probably used to do that a lot years ago because I used to think that I needed to eat constantly. Now I like to have bigger meals, and bigger meals, I like to get the protein in there, some fats, the carbohydrates, the fiber. I like to have bigger, more satiating meals. They keep you fuller for longer. That's just the way I do it. And so that could also be another technique. Look, if you are going out in the evening, you're saving calories later. I always say, like, you know, big influx of protein somewhere in the day. That could be a massive protein shake. Have a big meal, spread your calories into big meal, and then bigger event or social thing later on. Snacking, unfortunately, it's just not. Snacking is just such a habit thing, and it's like, you know, it's more of like a, you know, you just kind of think that you're eating small bits, and, you know, the snacking is a bit like picky, not really. Oh, I'm not having a meal, I'm not really eating much. No, it's because you're not feeling satisfied. It's not satisfying you. Okay, right. Regular tracking. Consistently monitor your daily intake to stay on track with your goals. You need to be well practiced and well versed in tracking. If you don't know how to track, or if you're tracking some days and not tracking other days, you've got to be really careful about that. Right. So here we go. Common challenges. Overcompensating on low calorie days. So like almost like trying to overdo the low calorie days. Like instead of doing the strategic example that I showed you, where you might go 1,500 calories, that's like not that hard. It doesn't feel like that hard to do. But if you were to make yourself have 1,200 calories or 1,000 calories, you might feel like crap. So try not to like over undo things. Like, yeah. And look, if you have slipped up and stuff, just draw a line on, and we just keep it moving, we just keep it going. Also, underestimating portion sizes. So if you are guesstimating when you are out, you might not truly know how much you're having. So what I would suggest, when you are used to tracking and you're good at tracking and you're familiar with the foods you have and the consistencies there, when you are weighing out 100 grams of rice, cooked rice, like literally take a screenshot in your mind, look at it and go, that's 100 grams. That's what it looks like. That's going to help you learn the art of guesstimating. It's certainly not, you know, something that everyone can do, but you've got to learn the art of it. For example, tonight I did actually track my macros and my meals, calories, etc. And I had baby potatoes, and I haven't had baby potatoes for a while in like a meal. And so, not like previously, I'd be able to eyeball it and go, yeah, that's what it is. But because I'm out of practice, I did actually have to look and weigh out my potatoes to know how much I was having. Yes. Again, forgetting to actually track your intake just by saying, I've got a meal plan. I know what I'm doing. This is the guidance I've been given. This is a meal plan. I think I'm eating about this. You don't know. Listen, when you butter a slice of bread and you just eyeball it and get the butter and slab it on the bread, how do you know? How do you know what that looks like? When you eyeball a tablespoon of peanut butter, how do you truly know? And a peanut butter is probably the easiest one to get wrong, because you could have like tiny little bit more and it would just change everything. Okay, so it would just change. So definitely make sure you track where you can. Yeah. All right. thinking in your head that you are evening it out, just thinking, yeah, I kind of ate like The Rock yesterday. I had like 4,000 calories. Well, that's what you had. But in your mind, you might have thought, oh, I think I had about 2,000 calories. Yeah, didn't track. Yeah, it looked about that much. Didn't look like that much food. Again, our eyes do deceive us unless you're very good at taking those screenshots with your eyes. Yeah, so stop thinking in your head that you're just evening it out, because where you might think you've only had X calories, you've probably likely had a lot more. The lack of practice and consistency. Again, practice. If you are not well versed in tracking, then this might not be something for you to do. You need to be confident in what you're doing. Some of you are absolutely, you're just blowing my mind, and you're making me so happy because, ladies on the program that are listening to this, we've had these conversations and you're just nailing it. And I love that. It's brilliant. For those of you that are just not quite getting along with the daily tracking, that needs to be practiced first. Okay. We've got 3 weeks till Christmas. I'd love for you to just try and, get used to that. Just on the days that you can. I know that social events are out there. Fine. We can look at other tactics to try and manage your intake, but we won't really be able to measure it. Okay. So remember this, what isn't measured cannot be managed. If you are putting in your check-ins, I ate good, nutrition was good. Yeah, I think I did all right. I look at your diary, I see nothing tracked. I have no idea what you are doing. Right. Overcoming the challenges. Stay consistent with tracking. Just do it. And it's not to say that tracking needs to be lifelong. You might have been in a phase where between September and November, you were just not tracking at all, because maybe that's the tactic that we applied for your life during that period. That's fine. But coming in towards, the next 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I'll say, because it always takes that bit longer to get back into good habits after January, especially if you haven't been following them and they're not really ingrained and built in. Just get tracking. Let's just see how you're going. Okay. And then we can just sort of start to accommodate things. Focus on the overall weekly goal rather than the daily fluctuations. Okay. So just think snapshot of the week. Maybe I've set you 1,700 calories a day. Okay. Take that 1,700 calories, times it by 7. Know that you're going to have a day where you might be having 2,400, 2,200 calories. Okay, drill that in your mind. Know that, you know what? I feel quite good on 1,700 calories. I'm not really feeling like I'm pushing the boat out too much, but maybe I'll keep it there for my training days. And then my other days where I know that I'm not doing planned training, maybe I might be doing some, excuse me, we need a water break. I really did try. Need a water break. Ensure you hydrate as well. That's another one. Yeah. So know that there are days that you can take your deficit into a little bit more aggression, just a little bit. Know that you can just pull that figure down slightly, and then we can allow for the increase. Okay. Learn from your challenges and adjust your approach. So try this. If you fail miserably and it doesn't go quite to plan, don't worry about it. Look, even just the art of practicing, you might get it wrong. It's better than, just like yo-yoing and restricting and taking you back into that cycle of heavy restriction and then eating like The Rock. Love The Rock. Shout out to The Rock if you ever listen to this podcast. Okay. Work with your coach on this. So yes, work with me. Let's have that conversation. Send me a message. Let's kind of plan this together, okay? The next few weeks are going to be crucial in terms of the trainings. So today, 4th of December, Calorie Banking. Next week's topic, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that whole mindset, about that restriction and stuff. I feel like we've covered quite a bit here. So if I do adapt next week's training, yeah, then I'll just kind of adapt what I feel we haven't covered. And then we will also be talking about how to manage Christmas as well. That'll be exciting. Okay. I'm not going to give too much away right now. Okay. Ask questions, and yes, watch previous trainings too. There is value in there. Okay. And again, when we're having our conversations, I might actually direct you to an old training. So listen and do it. Go back, watch, and remember, what isn't measured cannot be managed. So let's get working out what we've got to do. Okay, long-term benefits. So we're thinking about long-term benefits. We're thinking about you just nailing the year. Okay. For those of you that are listening, just a quick shout out. It's Christmas is coming up. What the hell? Draw a line under it. Forget about it. I'm just going to do what I want. Well, January is going to come along. You might have events like coming up, like friends' birthdays, your own birthday. You might have anniversaries. There's going to be things coming up all the time. You might get invited to someone's hen do, someone's wedding. There's going to be things in the calendar constantly. So remember, this is a lifestyle change. It's not just a to B transformation and that's it. Let's get you a six-pack. We can get you a six-pack if you really want. But let's think about managing how to fluidly do this throughout life. Because even if you are maintaining and you're really happy with your physique and you love who you are and what you're doing, we do want to think about maintenance, okay? And there will be times throughout the year where we allow our body weight, our body fat to increase. That's fine. That's totally fine. We can allow the increases, and then we can come down and come back in and change our outlook or our perspective when we are heading into, I don't know, let's say summer. Like, you've got a holiday coming up. I don't want to be lean year round. Definitely don't. Okay. But I know that when I go on a holiday, maybe I want to be that bit leaner. So we can accommodate and think about this, these different goals that we've got. It's not just about staying one size all year. It's like totally normal to kind of fluctuate. It's fine. If the overall goal is, a big weight loss, let's make that happen. Let's get you down to a place where you maintain nicely. Let's work within your goals over the year. We'll come up, we'll come down, but you'll be a zone where you feel best. Even when you are fluctuating up, you'll still feel good. And when you're coming down, you'll feel ready as well for whatever it is, whatever things are in your calendar over the year. So long-term benefits, sustainable approach to managing weight. We've talked about that. Also enhanced awareness about dietary habits as well. And there could be an improved relationship with food because we haven't got this yo-yo mindset, and we haven't got this, I'm going to go and eat like The Rock and then absolutely eat nothing. There's an improved relationship with food. We are managing things over the course of that week, over the months, over the years. Remember, it's a skill and a practice. Try not to over obsess and focus on perfection. This is just another tool in the toolbox. Thank you for listening to the Girl Boss Method podcast. And if you have any questions, you can ask in our group or private message, DM me privately. If you're one of my clients, you'll have my phone number. Lucky you. And if you are just listening to this, you've just stumbled across this podcast, you can find me on Instagram at Richu Bra, RICHUBRA 8R, and we will see you here next time.